Hello, and welcome to my 2021 Anticipations video. It's a collection of interesting books and fancy editions that are coming out over the next few months that have caught my eye. As usual, I'll include lots of links in the description box below, but I'll also put a link to my website where I have the ISBN and other details about all of the books I'm talking about today, as well as details on a few more books I couldn't fit into the video that I think you might be interested in. Let's get straight in with children's books. Coming out in January, we have the 50th anniversary edition of Mr. Tickle, which is a special upsized edition of the classic story that also includes a bonus news story about how the Mr. Men began. Also in January, we had the 20th anniversary of The Bad Beginning, the first book in a series of unfortunate events. It's a special gold-foiled anniversary hardback edition. If you're looking for something for Valentine's Day, in February we have Robert Sabuda's Love Pop-Up book, which has a beautiful, heartwarming message of unconditional love and some of Sabuda's amazing, intricate pop-up work. And if you like Robert Sabuda's pop-ups, I just want to mention here that he's just brought out this incredible, special, expensive limited edition called the Davinci Drawmaton. So it looks really fascinating. I put a link to where he has it in his shop down below. A nice looking illustrated children's book is The Hatmakers by Tamsin Merchant, about Cordelia, who comes from a long line of magical milliners who weave alchemy and enchantment into every hat. This one's illustrated by Paola Escobar. I love her work, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Another lovely illustrated book is The Last Bear by Hannah Gold. This one's illustrated by Levi Pinfold. It's a story of friendship between a polar bear and a lonely girl called April who's staying in the Arctic with her scientist father. There are different covers in the US and the UK for this one. Coming up in April is a deluxe illustrated edition of My Father's Dragon. Now, wonderfully, this is the original text by Ruth Stiles Gannett, and it still has the black and white illustrations by Ruth Crisman Gannett that went with the original, but there are also new colour paintings by Helen Perez Garcia in this deluxe edition, which I think will make it more attractive to young children, and it's tying in with a Netflix film that's coming out at the same time. And to finish off the children's section, there's the Pendleton Field Guide to Campfire Stories. Now this is put out by the Pendleton Woolen Mills. This one's actually decorated with the classic Pendleton blanket designs. I don't have a picture of the inside, but this is what I assume is going to be fairly similar. This is the Pendleton Field Guide to Camping. Next up, I want to look at classics. Most of these are books in series. So I'll start off with MinaLima's amazing interactive children's classic series. The next one that they're putting out, coming out in September, is going to be The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. And this is going to have their typical 4-colour artwork, and it'll have 9 interactive features, which include a fold-out cyclone map, a pop-up yellow brick road, and special Oz glasses. Now, this next series I'm thrilled by. It's actually illustrated classics that has been popular in the original German editions for some years, but I'm so happy they're being brought out for English readers. These editions are designed by Marjolein Bastin, and they're gorgeous. They've got elaborate ephemera, like 4-colour maps and letters and family trees and sheet music, and there's pictures of flowers and birds on all the pages. I think that they're going to be super popular, and I expect to see everybody's Instagram posts flooded with these when they come through. They're coming out in March. Those of you who've watched my channel have seen that I quite like the Seasons die cut classics that are put out by Thomas Nelson. Now this year is going to see the last 2 seasons come out. We've got spring coming out in March and fall or autumn coming out in August. All of these have got laser cut dust jackets and foil stamping, and they're limited number. Everything's a first edition. So we've got Emma by Jane Austen, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle, Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo, Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett in the spring series, and in the fall or autumn series we have Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, Dracula by Bram Stoker, Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Montgomery, and Shakespeare in Autumn, a collection of verse by William Shakespeare. If you collect the Penguin Clothbound classics, there are 4 new titles this year. We've already had 1984 by George Orwell and Animal Farm by George Orwell come out in January, but we're also looking to have Monkey King by Wu Chong-ung coming out in February, and The Lonely Londoners by Sam Selvin is coming out in the middle of the year, around about June. If you collect the Barnes & Noble collectible editions, there's some new releases coming out there as well. Emma by Jane Austen, one of the new Flexibound editions, and one of the pocket classics will be The Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass. There's also a couple more I don't have cover images for. There's a re-release of The Treasury of Classic Poetry, which is edited by Michael Killahan. And around about April, there's going to be another pocket classic of The Raven and Other Poems by Edgar Allan Poe. Now, if you like the Barnes & Noble collectible editions, I just want to give a bit of a plug here because I made a collector's guide to that, which is on my website. And I actually listed all the books that have ever been printed in the series because a lot of people have sort of struggled to find that information. It's not all included on the Barnes & Noble website. So I'll add a link to that down below if you're somebody who really likes those sorts of pretty colourful leather-bound classics. Flametree are releasing a new series that highlights the foundations of modern speculative fiction. They've got gorgeously psychedelic covers and they're foiled and embossed with gilded page edges. And each volume also includes a new introduction exploring the classic text for the modern reader, an author biography and a glossary of Gothic Victorian literary terms. The 4 books that are coming out in March are Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, Dracula by Bram Stoker, Jekyll and Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson, and The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Now, the Puff and Victoria and Albert Collector's Classics series seems to be taking a bit of a turn. They're coming out with new series designs with covers that are apparently based on the fashion featured in the book. So the first thing that they're bringing out is the Complete Alice. Now, they've done Alice before, but this is obviously a redesign. They've got Emma by Jane Austen and The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Now, I'm actually going to stop here and do a special section on The Great Gatsby. This is the first year F. Scott Fitzgerald's Jazz Age classic's been released from copyright, so you can expect you're going to see a lot of new editions of this book suddenly flood the field. I picked a few of my favourites here to share with you. So this is the Barnes & Noble Collectible Classics Leatherbound Omnibus Edition. Just came out in January, and it's actually in series with the other Barnes & Noble F. Scott Fitzgerald Omnibus Classic Works. This one's the Canterbury Classics Leatherbound Omnibus Edition. Now, I think the cover design of this is really pretty. It also includes This Side of Paradise and The Beautiful and the Damned. And this one here is the one I think I'm most looking forward to. It's illustrated by Adam Simpson. It's a special gift edition. It's got 15 colour plates and illustrations, and it looks really fantastic. Looking at spin-off books, Nick by Michael Farris Smith has got some really good reviews so far. It's before Nick Carraway moved to West Egg and into Gatsby's world, so it's the story about his life during World War I in the trenches. This is a graphic novel adaptation by Kay Woodman Maynard, which looks really pretty, lots of lovely lush watercolours. And I just included this one because I thought it was really fun. They're fashion paper dolls set with the roaring 20s, gorgeous outfits. Now let's look at fantasy books. If you're collecting the Harry Potter house editions, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, illustrated by Levi Pinfold with the sprayed edges and house colours, has just come out in January. And Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows house edition will also be released in June. And of course, what I'm most looking forward to is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, illustrated by MinaLima. Their first book was just amazing, one of my top rated books of 2020. So I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do with the second book. That's coming out in October. Now, in January, I've already got a few of these books come in and I'm really enjoying them. So there's Lore by Alexandra Bracken. This is a twist on classic mythology with a deadly game played by Zeus on the Greek gods and a young competitor. The 6th volume in Shannon Maguire's Wayward Children series about magical doorways. In this one, Reagan finds herself in a world filled with centaurs and kelpies and other sorts of magical horses. These are nice short novellas, quick reads, lots of fun. Winterkeep, which is actually what I'm reading right now. This is the 4th book in the Graceling Realm series by Kristen Kishore, which I love the Graceling Realm. I think her books are just amazing. So if you haven't read the series, definitely go have a look at the first book. There's a new Bone Season novel coming out, also set in gloomy Parisian catacombs in the opulent hallways of Versailles. That's The Mask Falling by Samantha Shannon. And there's a new book in the Iron Fae series by Julie Kagawa, The Iron Raven. This one's about infamous prankster Puck, who finally has a chance to tell his story in this spin-off series. Now, if you like the look of this one, there's actually new anniversary edition covers that match it that have been put out by Inkyard Press for the rest of the series as well. We've got the 4th book in Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas coming out. I have to say, didn't super love the redesign of the covers for this. In fact, I never like it when they redesign covers halfway through a series. But looking at the picture of the actual book, it looks kind of prettier than I thought it would with the flat design cover. So I'll wait my judgment till it comes out in February. There's the conclusion of Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children by Ransom Rings coming out. The Desolations of Devil's Acre. That's coming out in February. The final chapter of the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb in their special illustrated anniversary editions is coming out as well. That's Assassin's Quest. That's in March. Klara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro looks really interesting. It's his new novels exploring the implications of artificial intelligence and human relationships and that sort of bigger question of what it means to love. That's coming out in March. Now, there's a special sprayed edge edition for this one at Waterstones in the UK and at Dimmicks in Australia. So I'll put links to those down below. If you're interested in trying to grab one of those, I recommend you pre-order because they're likely to sell out fast. Cassandra Clare, if you're still reading the Shadowhunters series, this one's set in Edwardian London. Now, if you are still reading it, I recommend buying the book early because the first edition is a collector's edition and it's got a bonus short story and 10 black and white character silhouettes by cut paper artist Kathleen Jennings, and they won't be in later editions. It's also coming out in March. Patricia Briggs, I love her work. This is the Alpha and Omega series about werewolves. It's called Wild Sign, and Charles and Anna have to investigate what makes an entire community disappear. That's coming out in March. Great series, again, if you're into urban fantasy. The Silmarillion by Tolkien. Now, this one's illustrated by Ted Naismith, and there was a really big edition of this that was put out many years ago, but this is a new edition, and it's got brand new paintings in it, so it looks really nice. It's matching all the editions that they've been releasing recently. It's coming out in March. I think you can only buy it in the UK, so I'll put just the British link down below to Book Depository. They ship internationally. The second half of the King of Scars duology by Leigh Bardugo is coming out in March. That's called Rule of Wolves. That looks like lots of fun. I think this one looks really good. This is a debut book. It's a reimagining of the Greek myth of Theseus, Ariadne and the Minotaur by Jennifer Saint. Now, this is one of those ones where they've got different covers in the UK and the US. I have to say the UK cover with all those blues and golds just looks stunning. Really looking forward to seeing what that one looks like in person. Here's something fun, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. It's the 42nd anniversary, so it's a special gift edition of this hilarious pop culture classic, and it's illustrated all throughout by Chris Riddell. So it's only out in paperback, but I'm really looking forward to it because I love illustrated books that he puts out. They're so sumptuously illustrated. He puts stuff on every page. He's so clever and really fun, so that's going to be really good. That comes out in April. Okay, this one's Folk and Fairy Tales of Azeroth, and this is a spin-off of the World of Warcraft, and I know some of you are probably thinking, why have you put that in, because that's going to be such a limited market, but there's actually incredible authors that are writing these short story fairy tales, original fairy tales. It's Garth Nix and Catherine M. Valente and Cami Garcia, and the artwork looks stunning, so I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a beautiful volume. Oh, look at the cover of this. Isn't this beautiful? This is Honeycomb by Joanne M. Harris, which is illustrated by Charles Vess. Now, it's a collection of original fairy tales again. I'm really looking forward to this. I love her fairy tales. I've got a whole bunch of the novellas that she's put out over the last few years. They're just beautiful, beautiful writing, and they're going to be accompanied by beautiful illustrations. I think this will be really something special. This one that I'm going to finish here with, The Empire of the Vampire, which actually isn't coming out until September, by Jay Kristoff. This looks like a lot of fun. It's about Gabriel de Leon, the last of the Silver Saints, which is a holy order dedicated to defending the church, has been destroyed, and he's imprisoned for the murder of the Vampire King, and it's sort of the story of his life. Sounds like a lot of fun. I'm going to finish with a whole bunch of books, which are just all sorts of different categories, just in case any of them tickle your fancy as well. These are just ones that I'm looking out for. The Shape of Darkness by Laura Purcell is a historical mystery about a struggling silhouette artist in Victorian Bath who seeks out a medium because she wants to speak to the dead and try and identify their killers. So it's a bit of a creepy sort of a vibe. I love the cover. The Marlowe Murder Club by Robert Thorogood is a mystery with Judith Potts, 77 years old, living in her faded mansion just outside Marlow. She sets crosswords for the newspaper, but then she witnesses a murder and sets out with a group of her friends to investigate a serial killer. Sounds like fun. Love those sorts of books. I've heard a lot of buzz about The Paris Library by Janet Charles. This is historical fiction, but inspired by the true story of the librarians who risked their lives during the Nazis' war on words. So real-life defiance in occupied Paris. The Way of the Warrior. This is a Arcturus Collector's Classic series, 3-volume set, non-fiction obviously. It includes The Art of War by Sun Tzu, The Way of the Samurai by Inazo Nitobi, and The Book of the Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi. These texts set out strategies and techniques for warfare and conflict, but they've been used as tomes to advise leaders and strategists, and they cover more than 2,500 years of history. They're in beautiful silk-bound covers in a box set, so it looks like it might be a nice gift if you're looking for somebody. That one comes out in March. Another non-fiction is The Nightingale by Sam Lee. This is sort of an ode to the songbird, and it moves from Greek mythology to contemporary, like a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square, delving into various ways we've celebrated the nightingale through traditions and folklore and music and literature. Looks beautiful. If you're looking for poetry, this is a bit specific, but I quite love poetry. It's called Wedding Readings and Poems, part of the Macmillan Collectors Library. So it's a collection of texts on love and marriage. It's cloth-bound, foiled edges, ribbon bookmark. Coming out in April, might be good if you've got anybody with a wedding coming up soon. Another non-fiction is The Bookseller of Florence by Ross King. This is an account of the Florentine bookseller Vespasiano da Bisticci, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, that explores that shift from script to print that happened during the Renaissance. I think the cover for the UK cover looks beautiful. I'm not so sure about the US cover. I'll wait to see what it looks like. Cunning Women is historical fiction about a woman living during Britain's Pendle witch trials, which looks at love and intolerance and those sorts of things. I admit here the cover and title are what caught my eye. I don't know too much about the story. And the last one I want to mention today is just a quick heads up about Stephen King's new thriller coming out in August. It's about an assassin on an odyssey across America in pursuit of the dark forces that seek to double-cross him. Waterstones are doing a limited edition of this one that I'll also link below for you. So, I think that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour through all the books that are on my radar. If you've got other books you're looking out for, please let me know in the comments. I always love to see what people are looking to read. And as I said, I've got more books as well on the website. And there's all the ISBNs and links there, as well as a few of them down below for the ones I think are probably going to be the most popular. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I put out videos randomly, which is why it's quite useful to be subscribed. Otherwise, you don't ever know when they're going to come out. And thank you for watching as always. Bye-bye.